Hey guys, this is another video from the package that Casey sent me with the dueling tetrahedra and the Spax cube. This is called the Copter Tower and this is called the Turtle Cube. So you might be wondering why these names, because it does look like a cube, but it is completely different. And I think these two are aesthetically amazing. This is why I'm posting this video last. I'm keeping the best for last. These two are just incredible. Now, what these puzzles are, and it does look confusing because, you know, they don't look like what they are, but this is just a 3x3 actually, and this is also a 3x3. Now let's begin with this one. This is actually a curvy Fisher 3x3, so you've got these side turns, these edge turns. So this is actually the equivalent of a 3x3 with 1, 2, 3 layers, 1, 2, 3 layers, and 1, 2, 3 layers. You can turn it like this. These are face turns, and these are the 4 faces on the side, but obviously it's been fissured, so instead of turning like 1, 2, 3 faces, you've got 1, 2, 3. And let's just do a quick checkerboard pattern. Now I think the checkerboard pattern is going to be really interesting because here, when you do a checkerboard, unlike a 3x3, I only have a 2x2 here, but the checkerboard here is bringing orange with red, blue with green, and yellow with whites. On this one, you get orange with blue, which is quite unusual, and green with red. And doing so will give you a very unusual checkerboard pattern with blue, green, red, and orange on the same face 4 times, and the classic checkerboard on the top and bottom face. Now something I really like is the fact that the 3x3 cuts are splitting the face right on the middle of the edge, so you don't have corner pieces, and I think that looks really, really cool. So I'm just gonna do a real quick solve on that one. I think it's really interesting, and I do want to know how to solve it. Obviously, since it's a 3x3, you can do 90-degree turns on those faces as well. So you can actually scramble it quite thoroughly, and that's quite interesting. So let's just do a quick solve on that. All right. So let's start with these corners that are actually edges. Got blue. Okay, obviously it's going to be quite difficult to speed solve, probably impossible. I don't know yet. Yeah, it's still a very well turning puzzle. Whoops, that was a mistake on my part. Also the finishing, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is 3D printed, so the finishing is really, really good. I don't know if you can see the faces right now, but yeah, they're perfectly sanded down, and just like every single one of Troy's puzzles, I think the finishing is extremely well made, and it's a very high quality puzzle. Now something else that I just noticed, I just noticed something else than what I wanted to show you. Again, these centers have that groove mechanism, but the cool part is that you can even just put like one of those side edges on top if you want to disassemble it, and that one can slide over it. So you can remove the caps during the solve, but they're not going to pop either, and that's really interesting. Okay, anyways, what I meant to show you was that these corners, these red corners for example, well there's 2 of them, so I'm assuming that you're going to be able to get parity errors on a puzzle like this. And I think that's interesting. Also, these parts here don't have a specific orientation, which means you're probably going to be able to get orientation mistakes on the last layer as well. So there's multiple ways of messing up, which is the best part of a puzzle. And that's really cool, because well, it's just a nice addition to a 3x3, and it just makes it that much harder, because not only is it like a picture cube, you have to orient the centers, but it's also a little bit extra, because you also have those parity errors on the edge orientations, on the corner positions, and therefore edge positions as well. It's really interesting. Okay, I've done the 2 first layers, and as you can see, I've got an edge orientation parity. Oh, wait, what did I do? Okay. So right now I just reversed the orientation of the blue edge, and now I have these two edges left to orient, and that is done. And I kind of messed up somewhere. Okay, now let's see. I've got two edges in the wrong position. I'm just going to use the beginner's method to put them in the right position. And now I only have those last face corners to position, and I think, damn, it looks really cool. Like these two, just these corners being scrambled, since they're really small parts, it almost doesn't look scrambled, so that's nice. And now all that's left is a parity error. Yeah. Okay, so in order to fix that parity, I'm gonna put that red corner right here. So what I've done is I've replaced a red corner with another red corner right there. So that should fix the parity, and I've only got these two corners left to orient. The position is correct, so that was an easy fix, and now it's solved. Now that this puzzle is solved, I'm going to show you the next one. But my thoughts on this are that it's a really, really cool design, and I think it's probably one of the best 3x3 shape mods that I've ever seen so far. And this one is almost as cool. I tend to prefer this one, you know, visually speaking, but this one is really cool as well. Alright, so this is the same thing, except instead of turning it like that, the middle layer is not fissured. The top and bottom layers are, so it's the same concept if you only look at the top face. But this layer was turned 45 degrees in the design, so you can turn it like this. Now that's just gonna make the solve slightly harder. It's, you know, just usually I talk about the finishing, but honestly with Troy everything is finished to perfection, so I can't really say anything different from what I just said about the Copter tower. So now for the turtle cube, I'm also gonna get a solve on that. Now something that's quite confusing that I wasn't expecting is that well, these centers, they're all the same shapes, and I didn't think about that earlier, because here I had these centers and these ones that were completely different. So now I don't remember which part is which face is the top face. Luckily, if Troy is a designer, then he probably has his preferences, and I'm assuming top and bottom are white and yellow. So I'm just gonna go with that, and seems as though I was right, because this top face is the yellow face. Now let's put okay, the corner in there. I'm gonna use the beginner's method for that one, because F2L is gonna be confusing, since the parts that are supposed to go here, for example the edges, they're just not in the right position, which means they don't correspond to that corner. They correspond to something else. I mean, their color pattern corresponds to something else. So it's slightly different. And that's really interesting though, because it's it just gives it a little bit more difficulty to solve. And you know, I always like a bigger challenge. Okay, now I've got the green corner to put in there, green red edge right here. It spins extremely well. There's no issues there. The design is solid. There is absolutely no problem. Everything is perfect on that puzzle. There's really nothing to say. Oops, I forgot my algorithm. Okay, so I messed up. I was trying to use an OLL algorithm that I don't know that well. I think I'm just gonna stick to the easy ones. Otherwise, I'm gonna get confused and mess up. Okay, so. Alright. Now, all that's left is corner orientation on these two. And then the puzzle will be solved. So I'm just finishing that up. And so yeah, my thoughts on this puzzle are that it's really cool. It's more well, it's slightly different from the Copter tower, with, you know, the centers being the same and stuff. I think it's really interesting. I've always liked those cutter cubes. By cutter cubes, I mean puzzles with, for example, one unfissured layer, one fissured layer, one unfissured layer, and, you know, just alternating between fissured and unfissured. And yeah, I really think it's interesting. I didn't do a checkerboard pattern on that, so I'm just gonna do that now. I don't remember which way is the checkerboard pattern. I think that's the one. So you've got, what? Okay. That's curious. This is completely different from previous checkerboard patterns I've done. Okay, so technically, I'm just gonna turn it one step to the right. And now, so this is the checkerboard pattern. Okay, with all red here, green and then blue and, orange and then blue on the left, green on the right. So it's always 2 on the left, 2 on the right, 2 on the sides, and 1 column in the center. That's a very, very interesting checkerboard pattern, because it's everything except checkerboarded. Like, this is, in the middle, it's just like a line of 3 parts with the same color and everything. It's really interesting because it's very different from what we usually see. I guess this could be an alternate, you know, checkerboard with proper checkerboarding, but technically, if you do the checkerboard the right way, per se, that's what it looks like. So that's quite interesting. This is just like a half checkerboard, sort of. Strange. Alright, so very interesting puzzle. I definitely like that one. Especially that checkerboard pattern surprise. I was not expecting that. So yeah, this is the Copter tower and the turtle cube. I think they're really cool. I won't be keeping those. I was just lent these 2 puzzles, and that was really nice of Casey, because these are puzzles from his collection, and he's really taking a risk, you know, by sending them by the post office. I already lost a lot of money on that and a lot of puzzles, and I have, you know, trouble with trusting shipping companies nowadays, so I tend to not send too many puzzles away. But yeah, honestly, thank you, Casey, so much for sending me those, and Troy, thank you for designing puzzles that are just so cool. So feel free to go check out Troy's channel. It's RCPongo. I've put a link in the description below. You can also check out Casey's channel. He's also in the description below. He makes some really cool mods. And the quality of finishing is the same as Troy's puzzles. It's quite mesmerizing. So if you enjoyed this video, check out my other videos and check out their other videos, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.